So before the video even starts, guys, can you guys please do me a favor? Watch the video all the way through if you can. And also, if you like the video, please hit the like button and possibly share the video. And if you really want to see more content from me, definitely subscribe. This helps us with the YouTube algorithm because likes and things like that are the things that drive us to be seen by other people and by people that normally wouldn't be able to see our videos given that we're a smaller channel. So with that being said, guys, let's get into it. So, Netflix original content. Here's a gem among a lot of crap. Archive 81. So what is Archive 81? Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but it is in the horror genre, and it is produced by James Wan, who has made numerous hits in the horror genre, including, not limited to, the Conjuring series. So watching a long form series produced by him and based on a podcast of the same name immediately had me intrigued. So what's it about? Well, this series follows a digital archivist named Dan Turner. And Dan is approached by a man, Mr. Davenport, who wants him to basically restore some VHS tapes that were severely damaged in a fire. He has to go to a remote location because Mr. Davenport reveals to Dan that the tapes, because of their damage, cannot be moved from their location and must be recovered at their present location, which happens to be in the Catskills in a remote compound away from civilization. And he promises to pay Dan 100 racks. For y'all that don't know, that's $100,000 for this restoration. And what ensues is a very claustrophobic and really just unsettling horror series. Typically, these type of horror series are hit or miss. I mean, you have The Haunting of Hill House, which was fantastic, but then you also have your Bly Manors, which are not so great, but then you have your Midnight Mass, which was fantastic. And I'm really happy to admit that this is definitely in the company of Midnight Mass and Hill House. It is very good at character development, very good at storytelling. The dialogue is very natural, and the performances are surprisingly really good. Mahmoud Athie as Dan Turner does a really good job at carrying the emotional tone of this series as a very damaged and very human character, and yet very brave and driven. And I really like that. Like, even though he has flaws and he has fears, he's not a quitter, he's not a coward, and he doesn't give up. Also, Dina Shihabi as Melody Pendris, which is the female protagonist of the series. She is really good in this role. Like, I've seen her in a couple other things, nothing really of note, but I really enjoyed her performance. And Martin Donovan as Virgil Davenport definitely makes a good antagonist in this series. What I was really weirded out about, though, and I had to, it took me maybe about 3 episodes to really realize who this was the character of Dan's best friend, Mark Higgins, played by Matt McGorry. Now, I haven't seen Matt McGorry since maybe, since I was actually still watching How to Get Away with Murder. And oh my goodness, I mean, he's gained a little bit of weight, but his acting has not suffered at all. I mean, he really sells this role. And honestly, like I said, he was so believable in the role, not just because of how he looks physically, but just his demeanor is different from anything I've really seen him in before, that I really didn't recognize him, literally until maybe about 3 or 4 episodes in. So the cast is actually does a really good job. And the scares in this, they're not jump scares, but they do come out of nowhere almost. There's scares that build and build because of the tension that's set in this story. But then there are these things like there's body horror, there's various types of scares in this that really vary the gamut of horror, and how the genre really plays with your sense of timing and just your sense of safety. You know, the unknown, they play with the unknown very well in this series, so I really enjoyed it. Another thing that made the series very believable is the sense of isolation in certain parts, especially with Dan when he's, you know, by himself and he has to deal with his own thoughts, and that might be the scariest part of all. And one thing that they really do well in this, and you'll have to watch it to understand what I'm talking about, but they play with the idea of gaslighting very well in this, in the idea that just because you may or may not have had psychological or psychiatric problems in the past, that your word can't really be trusted, or your memories can't be trusted. And so a couple of characters really play with that in all of this. Now, what I haven't really talked about is the idea that this series isn't just horror, but it actually plays with a lot of sci-fi elements, a lot of religious elements as well. So if you're really looking for a good time and a good series to watch, but you know, you're really not feeling like a lot of what's going on, definitely give Archive 81 a shot. I'm gonna have to give this, I'd say, a good 9 out of 10. The only real weak areas I can think of are maybe, you know, some pacing issues in the middle of the story, but those are quickly rectified. This story, you know, it goes at a good clip. You get good amounts of information per episode, and you'll find yourself binging the whole thing and really wanting more at the end. Not gonna spoil it, but the cliffhanger ending definitely will have you wanting more from this series. So that being said, guys, we're gonna see you on the next one. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, tell us what you thought, even if you didn't like it, and think about subscribing. So we'll see you on the next one. 8-Bit Heroes out. Peace.